BFF. Who? Your parents. Adunangalia mtoto, this is my BFF, man. Listen, I don't have a problem with being my one and only or my career, my reason or whatever. Let me tell you. Kids, they're sojourners. Watoi ni wapita njia. Watoto ni wapita njia.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on, Weezy. Hold on.
Yeah, but here is where I think people need to understand that as a parent, you have to enforce the system that you want in your house.
That's what I'm saying.
Even if you want this American culture.
That's what I'm saying.
Correct. Even if you want this American culture, you have to do it in the right way.
Now, if you want your kid to be as equal as you, sawa. Because I think that is what is happening right now. Where there's some parents who think that, atoi, they've got freedom of speech.
Ruth once said, I think what has happened,
because freedom of speech is not really free.
Like what has happened, especially with the millennial parents, is that we came from a situation where we felt like our parents were so strict. So now people are overcompensating. They're saying, okay, I wasn't allowed to do this. I'm going to allow my kid to do everything. By the time wanatafakari, wanna realize, oh my goodness, I have created a monster that I can't put back in the cage. And that's what's happening. When this is happening, there has to be a balance. There has to be a balance. Yes, maybe our parents were a bit on the extreme side on the being strict, but there has to be a balance. Otherwise, you're going to be raising monster. Okay, Weezy.
All right. I was going to say something, and I've heard all of you guys, and we are all peers here. Now, I'm going to say something of which you guys have discussed in a very broad manner. But when it comes to kids nowadays, if you don't control the environment they grow up in,
yes,
you know what we're going to do? We're going to be raising people who are actually not going to benefit the generation next to us. Now, one thing I say that as we grew up,
come closer to the mic.
We grew up very active. And how we grew up very active is, I know you went to boarding school, everybody went to boarding school.
Yeah, man.
Now, when we were growing up, we used to climb trees, we used to do whatever. We didn't have social media. Is that true?
True.
Right? Now, when you look at the generation coming up, my sister's kids, involved, and my, my nieces and my nephews, I try to make sure, even his kid, Peyton, make sure, are these the kids we're gonna rely on in the future, or are these the kids we are trying to make sure like we are tapping their whatever and showing them like, you know what, this is a generation where we can make money and just give it to them. Ashika, you know where I'm coming from.
No, I see where you're coming from, Weezy. And
that's that overcompensating you're saying.
Yeah, it's overcompensating, and like here maybe, and this is where it would be nice to have. And earlier on, we had kids in the studio of that previous generation. It would have been nice to also get their perspective on this. And I think no, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. We are we're living in this environment where there are so many different competing interests and competing forces, and of course with first generation immigrants, you've never done this before. So there was a way in which back home, even an irresponsible parent, there was a way in which the village would still correct that child.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was a way in which the village would still correct that child. The child tries to get smart, even the neighbor or someone will check the
and
child.
You know what, Ali? A kid back in our generation.
Oh, they can't hear you, so bring close.
Okay.
So,
Now, a kid in our generation was raised by a whole village. Uncles, aunties, anything. You understand? Now, I'm going to give you an example. when I was growing up. You know, my dad was in Europe for a long time. I went to boarding school. So the thing I'm actually trying to say right now is when he was in Europe, who was the responsibility around me? My aunties and my uncles. I cherish them to death. And one thing, how I am today is because of what they put, you know, in me.
Around you, yeah.
Yes. And I, when I was in boarding school, I went to boarding school when I was actually in 1990, when my dad left and went to Germany. You know? And at that time, my grandma used to come and visit me in Monyeru complex. I was with Tommy Randall and them. You know? And at that time, I was like, you know what? I don't have my mother, my mom. They're where? They're in Germany. And I looked at things, I was like, you know what? I have to do survival. Your relatives can be there, but they don't have the best interest like your mother or your dad.